The Supreme Court declares Gboyega Oyetola winner of the Osun State September 27, 2018 elections, and also how important is the political party in determining what our leaders do. I am Maryann Okon, and this is Plus Politics. The Supreme Court has dismissed the appeal filed by the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and its governorship candidates in the September 2018 elections in Osun State. Ademola Adeleke challenging the election of Governor Gboyega Oyetola of the APC. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, had on September 27, 2018, declared Oyetola as the winner of Osun State governorship elections. Now, the full result was declared after a supplementary elections in 4 local government areas of the state where the exercise had been cancelled, but later declared to be a rerun. Now, Senator Adeleke, however, filed a petition at the Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Osogbo to challenge Oyetola's victory. Why the previous back and forth, one would ask? And now, what do we expect from Oyetola? Because, of course, there's been a shift in grounds. To discuss this with me, I have Mr. Lester Wilcox. He's a lawyer. Thank you very much for joining us. Mr. Lester, it's good to join us. I know that you're not a lawyer. I don't know who gave that to you, but
thank you for having me.
It's good to have you.
I'm a chartered accountant.
I know this. Apologies for that mistake.
No, it's okay.
So, we all have been following this Adeleke Oyetola story since 2018, and we're in 2019. Yes. And at some point, the court upheld that Adeleke was the rightful winner, and there was a lot of partying. And now again, it has been upturned. So the first question would be that, is the court messing with us?
Of course, the court is not messing with people. The court is only out there to adjudicate what the law says, and they're also considering society, how to shape in society.
But the court also, at some point,
why the court is there.
But this same court upheld, I mean, they're saying what the law at some point did say Adeleke was the winner. Yeah. And then a few months down the line, the court is also saying that Oyetola is the winner.
Well, it's not the same court.
It's very confusing. Yes, we know, but they read and they pull from the same constitution, which are the laws that govern the country.
Yes.
It makes... It seems like a yo-yo situation.
No. This is, I mean, the entire world looking at the administration of justice in every jurisdiction has created levels because of the possibility of errors. Because now, don't forget, a judge is an individual. Now, a judge, takes a case or delivers a judgment based on the evidences adduced before him and the way the parties canvasses their cases before the judges. Now, the issue is now, does a particular judge has all the ambience of law and all the sensibility and technicalities to adjudicate it? That is why when a particular judge has looked at a matter, it is now, and a party is not satisfied, it goes to a higher court. Now, at the lower court, the levels of experience and skills of a judge of the high court is different because he might just have maybe 5 years on the bench and has seen limited cases. Now, when he gets to the appeal court, where you have a panel, now, which made up of 3 persons at least, or 5 at most. Now, they are more experienced in the same law because the law is an us. It is how you twist it. Now, they are more experienced and looking at the calendars, and when it goes for that level, it now goes to the Supreme Court, where you have far more experienced lawyers and have a wider jurisdiction, because at the Supreme Court, it's either 5 in the minimum or 7 panel members to adjudicate on the matter. So it is to show you that there are areas where what A sees and how it interprets a particular situation will not be the same when it goes to the panel. Now, for electoral petition tribunals, it starts as a panel of 3 to adjudicate on the case. When it gets to the appeal court, it becomes a panel of 5 to adjudicate on the same matter. When it gets to the Supreme Court, it becomes a panel of 7 to adjudicate on the same matter. So it gives a larger latitude. Talking about what happened in the Adeleke's case, the lower court, the lower tribunal, a panel of 3, had a split judgment. A split judgment. There was 2 for Adeleke and 1 against Adeleke. And the chairman of the tribunal was even the one that was against Adeleke's, against his other colleagues, because of the way they see it. Now, remember, a panel may not give a unanimous judgment. They can give a dissenting judgment. Now, the higher number that gives the unanimous, that's the judgment that stands.
But
so
because in this case, it was a split.
Even at the Supreme Court, it was a split decision.
Yes, but it was 2 to 5.
2 to 5, yes.
So, of course, the 5 outnumbered the 2, hence the reason why.
Yes.
But because in Nigeria, we do not have that jury kind of, case.
Well, they don't have jury case.
Hence what we have now. But what does this mean, looking at the entirety of things? Because 1 minute it's the APC, the next minute it's the PDP, and now it's back to the APC. Yeah. How does this even affect the Osun State people, in general?
No, you see, the fortunate thing is that, this process has been provided in the law after our elections, that aggrieved parties will approach the courts for adjudication. Before now, the elections of senator, House of Rep, House of Assembly ends, and the governor ends at the Court of Appeal. Now, the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court came in from 2015, when the cases had to go to, when the law was amended for the case to get to Supreme Court, especially that of the governors. Remember in 2015, River State, Akwa Ibom, Delta, Abia, and some other states, they had all their elections quashed at the tribunal. They had the tribunal still upheld the decision of the lower courts the appeal court. Yeah. The appeal court. It was at the Supreme Court that a new judgment came out that saved those governors, saved Wike, that saved Udom Emmanuel, that saved the Abia man, that saved the Delta man. Because the Supreme Court looked at, now, in their own wisdom, although a lot of people thought I'm not a lawyer, from my own personal perspective, I would say the Supreme Court erred also, but they looked at the totality of law, the totality of society. And the unfortunate thing, which I was telling somebody today, is that the Supreme Court has never nullified an election. Right from the time I begin to follow electoral history in Nigeria, right from 1979, that I started following electoral history in Nigeria, the Supreme Court has never nullified an election. Remember the 12 to 3rd case?
So what do you call the situation that we have now in Osun State?
Yeah. Now, no, the people of Osun, they should have set their mind to the fact that the possibility of either of the parties winning was there. As it is today, none of the election conducted in 2019, February and March 2019, it's circumstance, as it is, because it is still going through the legal.
Can we really say it's circumstance because we know the PDP is still in court on the presidential election?
Yes, and so also they are in court in so many states of the governorship, they are in court in so many senatorial seats. APC is in court.
Can you really say the thing is sacrosanct if it's being
I say it's not sacrosanct yet.
Okay.
No, it's not sacrosanct. Because
it's still being contested.
It's still being contested. And it takes a total of 9 months. 9 months, yes. It takes 6 months, minimum 6 months maximum at the tribunal. It takes 60 days, that's 2 months at the appeal court, and it takes 60 days, so about 10 months. And that's 60 days at the Supreme Court. So everybody that is even being sworn in now, both those sworn into the House of Assembly, Senate, and all whatnot, their elections are not yet sacrosanct.
Let me take
they are still subject to the final.
Let me take you back.
Today now. It is today now that the people of Osun State can heave a sigh of relief, and Oyetola Gboyega can now sit on the seat of the governor of Osun State with his two ass and buttocks, everything, legs crossed. Okay. That he's the governor for the next 4 years.
All right. Let me take you back to. You were here, I guess, when the EU observation team put out their reports, and you and I said these were simple things that even us Nigerians should be able to know and put to. So going back to that and looking at these kind of problems that we have and the mistakes that are made in elections, so much so that we have to go through court processes, rigorous and some of them very expensive, and the state has to wait in limbo to find out who finally emerges as governor after the proper elections have been taken place. Does this not make us want to go back to that EU report and take it more seriously, if not now, if not ever, but now, most importantly, because we can't seem to go. It's like a rigmarole of sorts, and we keep going around in those circles every election cycle.
Really, it's not about the law. It's about the mentality of the politicians in Nigeria. I want to believe that Nigeria is the only country that has this kind of problems. I do not see it in most other jurisdictions. Well,
there is a Kenya where you have an Uhuru Kenyatta and a Raila Odinga.
Now, in that case, there was no swearing in until the case was disposed. It was disposed in a short period of time. You see, it's in Nigeria. That was the thing. It's in our jurisdiction that I see governors are already sworn in. Set that. Remember the case of Governor.
But don't you think that is done because there is some allowance in the law that allows for this to happen? Yes, there's allowance
in the law.
Because if a case is or an election is being contested, what's the hurry in swearing in a person?
Well, there cannot be a limbo. And the elections and the cases are not determined within that span. For instance, the election was conducted in February and March. Swearing in took place in May. How many days? About 60 days lag. Our law does not allow that elections should be cases should be finished before then. Like what obtained in 1979 that I'm aware of, 1983, the elections were disposed of before the swearing in. The petitions were all disposed of.
Hence my question, what's the hurry? Why don't we revisit?
Because you cannot, because right now the law, what I'm saying is the law. The law provides for the elections petitions to take place in the first court of instance 6 months. Have a 6 months time lag. You cannot keep somebody who won an election for 6 months. Okay? You won an election and we have a democratic life cycle. So you cannot keep someone who has won an election and involve. Look, it's even better now.
So why are we not revisiting that instead of, because like you said, there cannot be a lacuna. There cannot also be that opening.
Yes.
And one would not also advise that we have interim governments before it's handed over.
It's even better now. Let me say it's even better. Remember the case of Adam Shoshimole versus Osun? It took 2 years plus. Mm-hmm. The case of Adegbeshola versus in Osun State, Adegbeshola versus what is called him, the former governor or the PDP governor, it took 3 years. The PDP governor was almost finishing his term when the final judgment came. Tito, what they call him, Oni versus governor, the current governor of Ekiti State now, Fayemi. It took almost 3 years for that case to be disposed of. So, but now, I mean, seeing that problem, they now say, okay, our justice system grinds slowly because you have to go through various court levels. In Kenya, it is only one court, the Supreme Court, which is called the Constitutional Court, that look at the matter. It's the same thing in Ghana. Ghana in 2007, I can't remember the year, sorry, had an issue when when the president Kufuor was leaving office, and this current president was challenging the election of the then president, and then the matter had to go to the Supreme Court immediately. The Supreme Court, which is called the Constitutional Court in their own instance, to preside over the matter, and the case was resolved even before the swearing-in day, which was what Nigeria was operating from 1979 and 1983. But as to why we have so dragged our legal processes with the election to this level, to this inglorious level, I think it is getting important. And then secondly again, why must every case of defeat in election goes to court? Look, go and see how crowded...
But I think I have asked you this question before. It sounds like another life, but I must have asked this question. I mean, if we keep saying why must every case go to court, does that not also amount to the fact that the people have lack of trust in the electoral system, even the electoral body?
Even when the case is, look, you can never, except to begin to build up...
Can you really separate the two from one another?
No, you can't.
Because it has to be a lack of trust. If there is some form of transparency, we would not have this issue.
You cannot, in all honesty, divulge that. I agree. But the fact remains that why must for instance, the case in Lagos, the governorship election in Lagos, a party that even came last or something, or somewhere, is one that went to court. Now, looking for technicalities, sometimes they're not even looking for facts of law. Sometimes they're looking for technicalities to just say they're in court. And the lawyers will not advise.
Something does encourage it. Something opens the door.
The fact is,
if there was no room for that, we would probably not have as many as the ridiculous. But that's what we're saying. But we're talking about Nigeria. If this is what it is, every election cycle,
let me tell you,
then there is a problem. There's a market for it. That's the word.
Good. There's a market for those who are benefiting from it. Look, let's even take this Osun State. When the lower court gave its judgment, I'm not a lawyer, but when I look at the judgment that was given by the lower court, it sounds it's not very ridiculous to me. I'm not a lawyer. And even the chairman of the tribunal said that there's nowhere this case.
Well, maybe that's why it sounds ridiculous to you, because you do not understand how the law works.
Because I don't understand because there's something that maybe sounds funny.
That's the answer already.
That even the chairman of that tribunal, who was the minority judge, who gave the minority judgment, was like, this judgment cannot stand anywhere else. And true to his fault, by the time the matter gets to the Court of Appeal, the entire 5 judges of the Court of Appeal, agree with him, and they reversed whatever thing that the 2 majority judges did at the tribunal. Now he got to the Supreme Court. They have a 5 against 2. And the point of law, and listen, the point of law they're even using is not even the election now. They're looking for technicalities. So most times, lawyers are those instigating. The politicians are so gullible that lawyers are instigating them. They just think that they have free money to throw around, and then to thinking that.
But then again, it takes me back to my question that we're yet to address: the transparency of our election body. Yes, politicians would, in Nigeria, we say that they're dirty, and we use all kinds of words, but if the system is transparent, we probably would have less of these ridiculous.
Who makes it not be transparent? It's not the same politicians, because they know. They know who buys INEC. Who wants to go and buy INEC? It's not politicians. Let's face it. When INEC sits down, I'm making an allegation that I'm being very factual on national television, because I know, because people have confessed. INEC staff has been arrested. INEC have been arrested for being compromised. Will not happen in River State, in Akwa Ibom, in Cross River, in 2015. I'm talking of 2015.
Okay.
We know what happened. We know how we know how an account was created by the Zani in one commercial bank. Let me not give them a free advert in a commercial bank, within which dollars were wired, for which it was used for election purposes.
But that's just 2 people.
No.
That
is general.
Hold on, you cannot judge a whole.
We had some telephone conversation of Governor Wiki and some other person.
Can you just let me say what I want to say? You cannot judge a whole independent electoral commission by the actions of 2 people. It's
Did you remember hold on, it's like Anambra case?
Hold on, it's like saying that because you met 2 bad Wilcoxes, every Wilcox is a bad guy.
No. You see, it's the institution they represent. If I come here,
it still doesn't matter. People steal.
If I come here and meet 4
and work in places, it doesn't mean that they're from those places.
Out of your staff strength, and I come in here and I meet 5 people who ask me for a bribe on the gate before I come into this place. What was my conclusion?
Well, again, like I said, 2 people.
It's not everybody.
Less than 1%.
But what I'm saying is, we know what Maurice Iwu did about INEC. One of the worst elections in 2007. We have had cases where INEC staffs were arrested. We know about the Anambra incidents. And INEC itself is saying that their house is dirty and they need to clean up their house. So it is a known fact that the politicians are the ones that compromise the INEC. What we should do is every politician should play by the rule of the game. INEC has guidelines. There are rules. INEC has guidelines. Go in. The politician should be the one that will lead our electoral reforms.
What deterrent measures? Because you see, INEC have always had guidelines. There is enough deterrent measures in the book. What deterrent measures do we need to?
There is enough deterrent in the book.
Okay.
Enough. Except it's
but why are we not using them?
Then Nigerians will all wake up.
Because it seems that
who is the leader? The politicians.
It seems that we rather work better with the stick other than the carrot.
No. Even the stick does not work. Where is the stick? Who is using the stick on who? Is it the same? Is it the same chief institutions, the same chief executives of states that are the ones that comprise INEC? So is it was there one that will come up and use the stick? On both parties, I'm not saying on one party now, across parties. So it is now left for politicians that if they want a better Nigeria, then they should learn to play by the law. Look, sometimes it's not even the law. My dear sister, which country operates in Britain on written constitution? Was there any law that made a prime minister, a cabinet to resign for losing Brexit election? Was there any law that made him to resign? Was there any law that made him to resign from parliament? So you're saying it is the morality of the people and how the people want their country to move.
We need to go for that break.
Not just the law.
Mr. Lester Wilcox is a political analyst. He's also a chartered accountant. But you sound more like there is really no hope until the politicians decide to repent.
The politicians must lead that vanguard of that
But we cannot just wait on the politicians.
Well, we have a government today. We have a government today that is determined to do right, and so the government can lead this in and beat others to line. All
right. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll be speaking on the role of political parties in the activities of their members. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.